My name is Zandile Masuku and I am an artist and an architect. I was born to create. That is what I do. Every day I live art life. I am a painter. I paint. I use acrylic paint. I am a conceptualist. I do abstract paintings. It's contemporary work. I create what represents now. My work is a representation of now. My method of working is about movement. I have to move the paint. I have to move myself. And that's what we do now. We move, we migrate, we cross borders, we connect with each other through the internet. But we are the generation that is on the move, and I paint us now. My work is inspired by the light that I'm always searching for within myself. It is my my journey to find God or the creator within myself. That's what inspires me, searching for the truth in myself and in others and in the world and the spaces around me. I am inspired by being alive, because being alive means you're searching for a solution. Art life is my family life, is my everyday life, is my everything is all interconnected. It's all mishmashed into one. So there's no this or that. It's all part of life. I paint how I feel at that time. So every painting is a snapshot of a series of moments that I'm going through, or a series of feelings, because there's no moment without feeling. I paint because I have to. It's my calling to paint. It's my calling to conscientize people on what it really means to be alive. Because I think if you go through life without actually knowing what your purpose is, then you've led an empty life. So I paint what I feel, I paint what I think, I paint what I see, sometimes with my mind's eye. And I paint moments in time. So paintings take a couple of weeks for me to paint them. So some feelings linger for a certain amount of time and cross over into a new feeling. The main issues that I'm addressing through my work are spirituality, identity, my self-awareness, and the self-awareness of others, and climate change. And the manner in which I do this is the methodology in which I work. I use universal symbols, I use circles, I use stars, I use spheres, I use cycles. Those are all universal things that anybody in the world can recognize. I also represent conflicts that we can't see with our physical eyes, like intergalactic, out of space, as opposed to underwater. So a lot of the time I will combine those elements to represent conflicts which we have, our energy conflicts which we have as a global issue. I also move paint around, and I move paint in such a way that the paint moves itself, and that's a representation of the spiritual nature which is in control of itself. It's not us who control spirituality, it's spirituality that controls us. So it's that method of working which actually represents the concept. And then there are various things that I'll do where I'll represent myself or other people as spheres of influence, because that's what we are. If we take away our physical body, you're a sphere of influence, and you're connected to other spheres of influence through the internet. So our physical borders don't matter anymore. What's important is how we connect to each other and how we live through our global spaces, and how we balance our energies, our own physical energies, and also the planet's energy in relationship to other energies in space. And those become our climatic issues. When we understand those types of atmospheric movements, then we understand why we have climatic issues. So yeah, my work is quite serious. The main function and purpose of art is ethical over and above anything else. So art and artists already has an ethical responsibility, whether they acknowledge it or not. And I think we have to tackle issues, and we have to conscientize people. That's our responsibility. So I choose to conscientize people, and I choose to have dialogues with people about what climate change means to them, what spirituality means to them, who they are, what it means to be alive now. So, the way the mind is, sometimes it's just a conversation that it takes to conscientize a person that, there's something called climate change, or there's a spiritual revolution. A piece is successful when it communicates, its representation. It's successful. Is my work successful? Sometimes it's successful, yes, because it hits home with someone, and that person, I'm not saying that the end or the means to the end is like once a piece has been bought, then it's successful. There are some pieces that aren't bought yet, which are successful in their message. Yeah, and not everybody is always going to understand when art message is conveyed. Some people will never understand, and some people understand it just like that. So, yeah, a successful piece is understood like that. This painting, the title of this painting is Flooding. And this painting represents two energies that are represented here. The one is the water, and the other one is this red and orangey, which represents the energy that we don't see, like carbon energy. This painting was inspired by the epiphanies that I had when I went to China. There was so much order. Everything was organized. I liked how every single province had their own airline. There's no competition. Everything is just in order. And it forced me to give order to my own forms instead of them just being everywhere. I wanted to gain control of my energy, and that's what I did in this piece. This painting is a feeling, it's a vibe. It's how I was feeling that day. I felt inspired despite, being broke that day. I had no money in my pocket, but I could still find something positive within myself. And that is what I painted here. So it's a paradox, because empty pockets full of inspiration. This painting is called Help Me Find My Feet, and it's inspired by the awareness of breast cancer, where as time progresses and a person discovers that they are sick with breast cancer, they lose hope before they find their feet. That's why it's called Help Me Find My Feet. And there's no solid ground to stand on here, but as time moves forward, you find solid ground, especially when you have hope and when you overcome illness. And that's what the painting is about. These paintings that I do that have the stars, they represent the conquering of fear. And I think in the world right now, that's what many nations and many people have to do. They have to conquer fear, because you can't reach for the stars if you are afraid of heights, or you can't reach for the stars if you are afraid of yourself, because that means you'll never let go. And I think for anyone to progress, you have to let go of all your fear so that you can become enlightened. Yeah. This series represents a number of bodies that are connected to each other through the internet. That's why I call these connectivity series. And all these people are in different parts of the world. Yeah, someone could be in Japan, the other person in Zimbabwe, the other person in Melbourne, Australia, the other person in London, another person in Addis Ababa, but they're all connected somehow. This painting is called Metamorphosis, and it is energy, and energy is constantly transforming. Even there are some spiritual ideologies in here. There's some climatic change ideology in there. It has multiple levels of meaning, and I think you'd have to just spend time looking at it to see them. I would like my work to be part of a permanent collection at maybe the Tape Modern or the MoMA in New York or the ICA in London, or it's already part of the permanent collection here, so here in Zimbabwe, so I've already done that. Maybe go to Dakar and then Venice, and then just take it from there.